someday I'm gonna have a really good setup that's not a stack of books holding up my phone so that I can talk about another stack of books. Hey, what's up, you guys? Today we're going to be talking about the trope enemies to lovers. It is a book talk and booktube fave, and honestly, not one of my personal faves. My favorite tropes are fake dating and friends to lovers, but I will definitely be talking about those in a different video. I've just been reading a lot of enemies to lovers lately, so I'm going to be talking about those. And then, yeah, if you have any tropes that you want to see videos done on, comment down below. This video is 100% inspired by Larry's Reads and also Steph Barrere, my favorite booktubers ever, like actually favorites. And a lot of these books were actually recommended not by them, just like random books I found on Book Talk, which is kind of why I wanted to talk about them. So yeah, let's just hop right into it. So the first book we're going to talk about, I actually read on Kindle Unlimited, and that is The Spanish Love Deception. I've talked about this book on my channel before, I think in either one of my wrap-ups or just like in one of my videos in general. The Spanish Love Deception is The Hating Game, but with diversity and a lot better. Basically, Lena and Aaron work together in an office. They hate each other. They don't like hate each other, but he's just really mean to her, and she just like tries to be overly nice to him, and he just like is mean. Like, he's just in general just like, is mean to her. And he finds out that she needs a date for her cousin's wedding in Spain, and he's like, I'll go with you. And she's like, you literally hate me. And he's like, well, don't you want to make your ex jealous? And so they go on a trip to Spain together. It's fake dating and enemies to lovers, so if that's your vibe, it's definitely really good. It has a lot of spice, but it is a very slow burn, so you have to wait until the end. I wouldn't say a lot. I would say, like, on a scale from 1 to 5, it's probably like a 1.5. Well, okay, the parts that are spicy, like the amount of spice is like a 1.5, but the spicy scenes are extremely spicy, if that makes sense. There's only like 1 or 2 of them. But I definitely recommend that for enemies to lovers beginners, because it has fake dating trope in it as well, and it's not like genuine enemies like I hate you. It's like just like, oh, you're mean to me, so I don't like you. But it's not like hate. But if you liked The Hating Game, I definitely recommend reading The Spanish Love Deception, because The Hating Game was one of the first books that I read, and I was like, oh my god, this is so good. And then I read The Spanish Love Deception and was actually like, this is so much better than The Hating Game. So take that into consideration. The next book I'm going to be talking about is one that I literally finished last night that inspired this entire video, and that is From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. I've been wanting to read Mariana Zapata for so freaking long. Right now I'm reading Cold Tea, so you'll probably hear me talk about it in a video later. But Steph Barrere loves Mariana Zapata, and if you like slow burn, this is literally like the match is not even lit when this book starts, and they barely decide to become like friends 50% of the way through the book. So if slow burn is not your vibe, this is like slow burn to the max. But I have become slowly more obsessed with slow burn novels. Also, my copy is not a mass market paperback, but it's like a lot smaller. I got it at Barnes & Noble. I don't know if they make bigger ones, but it's like smaller than my copy of Cold Tea, which is kind of annoying. But moving on, that's not even the point of this. Basically, From Lukov with Love is a story about a girl named Jasmine who's a figure skater who used to do pair skating, but her pair decided to ditch her and get a new pair. And Lukov is the last name of the people who own the ice skating rink that she skates at, and also happens to be her best friend's family, and also happens to be a world champion figure skater who she hates. She hates him a lot. She thinks, she's like very jealous of him, which is part of her hatred, but she's like actually despises him. Like, they're mean to each other. She hates everything that he stands for. She's extremely jealous of him, and he's just like their entire life like made fun of her and been mean to her, and so she just doesn't like him. But he needs a new partner, and she doesn't have one and has still been training, and so his coach asks her to be his partner. And then it's like extremely slow burn enemies to friends to lovers. And I really enjoyed this book. I read it in 2 days, even though it's like 500 pages. And it is so good. Like, so addicting. Like, even though it is a slow burn book, like, the banter is just what makes it. Like, it makes you so invested, like, that he slowly starts becoming her friend and, like, pleading with her to be his friend and calling her baby and things like that. Like, I didn't annotate this because I didn't read the actual copy. I read it on Kindle Unlimited. Even though I had the physical copy, just because I like laying in my bed and reading my Kindle. and like my annotations in my Kindle Unlimited were so bad that I could not post them on Goodreads. So if that tells you anything, yeah. The next book we're going to talk about, I don't actually have the first book because my best friend Siobhan is hopefully reading it. She's literally had it for 2 weeks. So Siobhan, if you're watching this right now and you haven't finished Paper Princess, murder jail actually, but this is called the Royals trilogy. This is the second book, Broken Prince. I didn't tab these books either, but I'm definitely going to reread to tab them. Basically, the first book is called Paper Princess, not Paper Prince, and then Broken Prince. But basically, it's a story of this girl whose mom dies, and her dad also happened to die, but her dad wasn't like involved in her life at all. She is 17. She's like a stripper, like just trying to make money basically to support her mom and not have to live with anyone she doesn't know, like go into the foster care system, etc. But one day at school, some random like really rich guy just shows up to her school, and she's like, I have no idea who this is, and they're like, he's your legal guardian. And so he takes guardianship of her, and she refuses to let him be her guardian, so she like leaves, and he finds her and he takes her back to his house. And he has 5 sons. 2 of them are twins, one of them is older, and then the other 2 are like her age, like one of them's her age and one's a year older than her. But basically she's like trapped in their house. They literally hate him they hate her because they're like, why are you here? You're just taking our money. Like, what do you want from our dad, etc. He cuts her like this deal, the dad, to make her stay. Like, she doesn't necessarily have to, but to make her stay, he's like, I'll give you X amount of money every month and pay for your college tuition and things like that. But like, they all despise her. Like, when she first goes there, they're so mean to her. None of them talk to her. Like, she shuts herself in her room, like refuses to talk to them. And so that's why it's like a really big deal. And that's why it's like enemies to lovers, is because they go through so much. And it's not even just like enemies to lovers, like it's enemies to lovers, love triangle, like I will do anything to protect you, I hate everyone but you. Like, but she's like, the main character is just like so strong in her own self that like she would like literally kick anybody's ass, and like does get in physical altercations in this book. And like, it's, I don't know, she's just like a queen basically. But her name is Ella. The main character's name is Ella. But this book, the thing that I found out about this book, if you've been on my channel for a while, if you watched my last video, I talked about The Deal by Elle Kennedy. This book is by a pseudonym author, and the pseudonym author is actually 2 separate authors, and one of those authors is Elle Kennedy. And so as I was reading the first book, I was like, this writing is really good, I'm really enjoying this book, but there's no diversity. And that's because it's written by Elle Kennedy. So do keep that in mind if you have a problem with anything that Elle Kennedy stands for. Like I said in my last video, I don't condone any of her actions. But when you buy these books, you are giving money to Elle Kennedy. So just consider that. Do your own research on authors and what your beliefs are and your morals and things like that. The next book we're going to talk about, I have not read for a really long time. I read it right when it came out in like October. So please forgive me if I don't remember everything about this novel. This book was gifted to me by the author Devney Perry. I've talked about her books before on my channel. She wrote The Birthday List, and then she also wrote this novel, Indigo Ridge. These are the only 2 books that I've read by her, and they're both gifted to me by her. So I really appreciate that. Thank you, Devney, if you're watching. So basically, this girl, she moves to this town called Indigo Ridge, and all of Devney Perry's books that I've read, the only 2 that I've read, are based in Montana, which I think is cute when authors do that, because Mariana Zapata, like Colty and From Look Off With Love, are based in Texas, and so it's kind of cute when they like use like their hometown like area to write about. Anyways, sidetracked. But she basically moves to Montana and she becomes the police chief. If you've read The Birthday List, she knows the police chief of the town that they live in The Birthday List. And she's like trying to investigate all these murders that keep happening, but they're not deemed as murders, they keep being deemed as suicides. And she literally like has beef with like the biggest name in the town, which is crazy. Eden, their last name's Eden. It's like the Eden family. They're like the dynasty of the town, and they have beef because he's like, you need to drop this, like nothing like this ever happens in Quincy, like stop investigating these murders and stop investigating my family for them. And they just have beef, like from the get-go. They have beef. They slept together the first night they met, and then she was the police chief, and all of a sudden she'd be asking all these questions, and he's not vibing with that. It's really good. I really like it. I tabbed it. It was like one of the first books that I tabbed where I tried to match the tabs to the book. But it's also really, really sad. Like, a lot of stuff goes on. But I definitely recommend this. It is enemies to lovers. It is a faster paced enemies to lovers. Like, they don't, like, fully, like, hate each other, despise each other, never talk to me vibe. It's just kind of like we're having a disagreement, an argument, like, enemies to lovers type of vibe. But he also, like, hates everybody but her. So if you like the I hate everyone but you trope, I definitely recommend Indigo Ridge. The last book I'm going to talk to you about is a young adult novel. Two young adult novels that almost sound exactly like Paper Princess, except for the fact that they are not Paper Princess. So if you've ever read the Inheritance games, this is definitely an enemies to lovers trope in the exact same way that Paper Princess is, which is why I think I really liked Paper Princess and the Royals trilogy, because the Inheritance games is a book that I really, really enjoyed. So basically, Avery, this girl from Connecticut, all of a sudden inherits all this money from this guy named Tobias Hawthorne, and he has 4 grandsons, and they're all like, literally, why do you have all this money? How do you know our grandpa? Blah, 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 whatever, right? And they all despise her. Not as bad as in Paper Princess, like, they're not, like, outwardly super rude to her, but they're just not welcoming at all. Especially the family of the people, like, not the grandsons, but, like, their mom and, like, their aunt is just, like, absolutely awful to her. And they spend this time, like, figuring out this puzzle for why she got the inheritance. And so it's a little bit different than Paper Princess because there is a plot a little bit more that's not romance, which is what I really like about these books. But there is a love triangle in this novel of the boys that despised her, so it's like enemies to lovers, just like in the Paper Princess. And yeah, so they basically hate her because she has all their grandpa's money, but they also think that she, like, stole it somehow. Like, they think that she somehow manipulated their family. And then in the second book, it's, like, a little bit of a different story. It's, like, why they figure out why she got the money, but it's, like, how did he know who she was kind of thing. It's, like, a really long story. I don't want to spoil anything because the shock factor is what got me. But basically, 2 brothers in love with Avery. They hated her to begin with. Enemies to lovers, if that makes sense. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any more recommendations for enemies to lovers, please comment those down below. If you have any tropes that you want to see videos of, also comment those down below. If you're wanting an enemies to lovers playlist, follow my Spotify down below. I have lots of different playlists for tropes. I have I hate everyone but you, lovers in private, friends in public, friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, boy falls first, etc. I have playlists for Paper Princess, the Inheritance games. I'm going to make one from Luke Off with Love in literally like 20 minutes. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Like, comment, and subscribe down below. Recommend me video ideas, request playlists in my link tree that's always linked in the descriptions of my videos. And thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.